Someone suggested for me to do a video about Caulifla and Kale being in the Tournament of Destroyers, but I decided to focus on just Caulifla being in it. I only did this because I don't think Kale would be chosen to be in this tournament. While they knew her potential to be high, at the time she wasn't that strong. For Caulifla to be in the Tournament of the Destroyers, it isn't that difficult of a change to make. All that would have needed to happen for her to be on the team would be Caulifla picking her instead of one of the other fighters he normally chose, which, out of all the Universe 6 fighters, I would choose to replace Batamo with Caulifla. Not a lot came out of his fight with Goku, as I think his fight was only there for a little piece of comedy. It also introduced his ability to nullify damage, but that easily could have been introduced in the Tournament of Power. Anyway, before the exam, Goku and Vegeta would likely try to talk to Cabba and Caulifla. However, I could see Caulifla slapping away Goku's hand and saying she won't be friendly with an opposing universe like she did in the Tournament of Power. Deep down, however, she'll likely be hoping to face off against one of the Universe 7 Saiyans. Regardless, their conversation with Cabba generally goes the same, with Vegeta talking about Universe 7's planet Sadala and asking to go to Universe 6's. As usual, the exam is still required to be taken by everyone to see if they can participate in the tournament, and Caulifla would likely pass it. Also, as a side note, like how there were spectators from Universe 7 there, people from Caulifla's gang, like Kale and Renzo, could have been there to spectate as well. Since Caulifla took Patamo's place in the tournament, the first match would be between her and Goku. Knowing Goku, he'll likely hold back to some extent, as he likes to test out his opponent's power when he can, especially since his opponent this time around is another Saiyan. He would love to test out her power. As for Caulifla, she would be cocky that she could win this fight, as she doesn't know about the Super Saiyan forms. Anyway, with him suppressing his power, they would be going blow for blow with each other at first. Mainly, their fight would only go on as long as Goku wants to draw it out for. I don't see him doing anything like what Vegeta did to cause Cabba to turn into a Super Saiyan. I just don't think that would be in character for Goku to threaten to blow up their home planet. He seems more like the type to train someone to achieve these things, like he did with Gohan back before the Cell games. However, Goku would eventually turn Super Saiyan during their fight to show her this form, so since she would be easily outclassed by him at this point, she would be knocked out of the ring. He would walk over to her after the match was over to congratulate her on the good fight. She would still be amazed by the power of her Super Saiyan, so she would ask him what that was and to tell her about it. Though after he does, she would ask him to teach her how to unlock it, and he'd likely agree before he could. However, the next match would be set to begin, so he might say something along the lines of that he'd have to teach her later. This could be the start of a student-teacher relationship between them, like the one that normally forms between Vegeta and Cabba. As for the rest of the tournament, things generally were the same as usual, just with some minor changes. The next change wouldn't be until Vegeta's fight against Frost, which when Vegeta turns into a Super Saiyan, this would make Caulifla even more intrigued. She might begin to wonder if any Saiyan can transform and if she would just have to work hard to achieve it. Then before Cabba's fight with Vegeta, she might tease him that he's going to lose, as she felt he is weaker than her. Though when she sees Cabba transform out of anger, she would begin to wonder if that is all that is required to become a Super Saiyan. She would also be impatient and anxious for this tournament to end at this point. So far, she has seen 3 people transform to a Super Saiyan, so she wanted the tournament to be over so that she could hound the 3 to show her how to be a Super Saiyan. After all, she wouldn't want to be the weakest Saiyan there, so she would want to learn this form. Regardless, she would be even more amazed when Vegeta shows off the Super Saiyan Blue form, which this would turn her attention to Vegeta instead, as this is the strongest form she would have seen a Saiyan use. However, in Vegeta's match against Hit, she would also be shocked to see a form as strong as Super Saiyan Blue get defeated so easily. Then when it's Goku's turn to fight Hit, she would be curious to know if he can go Super Saiyan Blue as well, and much to her excitement, he can. When seeing this form get beat around by Hit, she would begin to question if there was even anything that special about it, minus the power increase and color change. Though when Goku uses the Kaioken on top of Super Saiyan Blue, like everyone else, she would be shocked. She would watch this in awe. She would make her goal to achieve a power as high as Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. After the tournament ends, she would approach Goku and demand he teaches her how to become a Super Saiyan. However, before he could, they were interrupted by the Omni King arriving, which, everything else in this saga would go the same as usual. So, unfortunately for Caulifla, she doesn't get to learn directly from Goku about how to become a Super Saiyan, though she would remember what he said about how to do it, and she would have seen the anger that caused Cabba to transform. After going back to Universe 6, she would see Goku as an idol she wants to surpass, and there might be a Saiyan that can help her. She would seek out Cabba to become a Super Saiyan, and she might also drag along her protege, Kale. Regardless, because of the things she learned during the Tournament of Destroyers, this could have been a chance to make how she achieves Super Saiyan better. Instead of the tingly back thing, she might strive to train for it, so she knows it is anger that unlocks it. Eventually, after months of training with Cabba, I think she could achieve the transformation from the anger caused by her not achieving the form, especially after seeing Goku, Vegeta, and even Cabba use the form. After all, in her mind, she would need it to not be the weakest Saiyan, and she would need it for the upcoming Tournament of Power once she finds out about it. Normally, during the preparation for the Tournament of Power, she briefly shows off the Super Saiyan 2 form as well. This time, however, she wouldn't achieve it yet, as her power progression seems to be somewhat more realistic in comparison to the other characters. However, I do think she could still ascend into her Ultra Super Saiyan form at most. During their training, Kale would still unlock her legendary Super Saiyan form as per usual. Eventually, the day of the Tournament of Power arrives. This tournament would go the same as usual, with some minor changes. In Caulifla's confrontation with Goku, this could be where she achieved Super Saiyan 2 for the first time. After showing him that she had unlocked Super Saiyan, she would try fighting him in that form, though she would also end up showing him that she managed to unlock the Ultra Super Saiyan form as well. She would be trying to prove her newfound powers to him, and he would be able to provide guidance to her. With his guidance, she would be able to tap into the Super Saiyan 2 power at some point during the tournament. Throughout the tournament, she would continue to work on harnessing that power and using it in her fights. Other than that, nothing else really changes in the Tournament of Power. The only other change would be a minor one, since this would be the first time Batama was introduced, though he would still be defeated by Gohan. As of right now, the Universe 6 Saiyans haven't shown up in another saga yet, so that would be into this timeline for now.